And to put a finer point on it, it was the latest poll I saw was from Fox News that didn't just show a majority of Americans supporting various gun safety proposals, but an overwhelming majority. We're talking north of 80% majority of Americans supporting common sense gun safety legislation. There's another sad anniversary that we are marking, and that one is tomorrow, May 25th, and it's the third anniversary of the murder of George Floyd. You shepherded an executive order that was designed to address issues around policing and race. And you built an improbable coalition of law enforcement leaders, civil rights activists, and families of people who'd been killed by police to support it. First, what does the order do?
The order does a vast number of things, Jonathan, but let me back up and give that to you, but also to give our audience the context. You will recall that after George Floyd's horrific murder, there was work in Congress on something called the George Floyd Justice and Policing Act. It passed the House of Representatives in 2021 with President Biden's very strong support. But it stalled in the Senate largely because, again, unfortunately, Republicans were not interested in seeing that legislation enacted. That legislation would have banned, chokeholds, no-knock warrants, mandated body cameras, changed and restricted the use of force, and implemented a number of very important and common sense reforms, not only at the federal level, but at the state and local level. Now, without legislation, President Biden has the ability only to mandate those sorts of reforms at the federal level. So the executive order, which the president signed a year ago tomorrow, mandated that the federal government also ban all chokeholds, revise and restrict the use of force, and implement policies across all the federal agencies to ensure that we do that. Restrict no-knock warrants, mandate the use of body cameras, ensure that there is a federal law enforcement accountability database so that when there is police misconduct, that it is available for law enforcement agencies to check and make sure they're not hiring somebody from another agency or locality that has a known record of misconduct. There are so many things that this order does, from improving our data collection to improving the standards of training, helping officers who have wellness issues and suffering the stresses of the job achieve the support that they need, helping our communities recover from the stress of gun violence, as well as of interactions that have been so counterproductive in many cases with police. And so what was remarkable about the executive order is that it really was a product of a collaboration and a coming together of civil rights groups, very importantly, the families of victims of police brutality, and law enforcement themselves. Many law enforcement organizations partnered with all of those groups and with us to help to craft this executive order in a manner that garnered broad support across that spectrum. And tomorrow, we will be releasing a detailed update on how we are implementing that executive order. We've been hard at work over the last year, making sure that we are meeting as many of the deadlines and requirements of that order as we possibly can, and we will report on our progress tomorrow.